All right. I just want to provide a short update on a project that I worked on, a new app that will help people analyze properties for investing. Yeah, I'm just going to jump into it. The quick thing, my website is www.burlesonlegacy.com. This website is just my website that's based on me and the projects that I'm working on as far as real estate goes, and just some of my history on my family, that type of thing. So, as you can see, this is the Burleson crest and what our mission is. Realistically, I don't want to focus on the Burleson legacy alone. I want to use Burleson legacy to help other people achieve their family legacies. So on my website, I do have just some short information like my photos of my family from back in 2024 and before that, just keeps going. In my bio, just a little bit about me and the time I served in the Army. And then finally, my project section. So, like I said, I want to show you my newest project, which is the Legacy Deal Analyzer. Shows you how a property fares against another property side by side. So, my first project that I worked on a while ago is I wrote a short how-to guide to be able to get rid of properties that you might own and you're facing foreclosure, or maybe were bequeathed this in a estate and you just inherited the property, that type of thing. It just tells you how you can be able to get rid of that without having to lose a lot of money or resorting to the illegal fares. The Legacy Deal Analyzer, I spend a lot of time analyzing, and one thing that I never really quite get good at is saving all the information that I am analyzing or calculating, that type of thing. So I wanted a hub to be able to have all of my information in one spot. For discount houses, this is actually where I try to sell some of the houses that I found that I maybe personally don't want to buy myself or something along those lines. So this is just a link that gives you access to some of the houses and stuff that I have found that may be good deals, and we can talk about how you can purchase those. And then home loan alternatives. So this is just a project that I'm working on. It's obviously far from complete, but I've talked to some lenders and different people that work in that lending realm, or that are, actual lending companies themselves or individuals. And I want to try to figure out a way that people can avoid the term interest when getting a loan. With the population growing, we're getting a lot more people into the United States that do not want to pay that specific interest. And so I want to be able to provide a way that people can maybe get into homes without having interest specifically, through either crowdfunding, co-ownership, and inhabiting the property under that co-ownership, that type of thing. But let's go into that app, that Legacy Deal Analyzer. I'm going to click the link that says click to start analyzing. Of course, this is a live link, so if you visit my website, you will see exactly what I'm showing you on the screen. But this is the Legacy Deal Analyzer. I spent quite a bit of time building this app, and my goal was to make it as simple as possible, especially when you're looking to purchase a property. Okay, so just to give a quick synopsis of the screen you see in front of you, it's just a side-by-side comparison of two properties. Okay, so these two properties are based on properties that you actually create the profile for. How do you create the profile? Well, it says add your first property right at the bottom there. If you click that, it's going to bring up a link portal. So if you were to copy your link from whatever app that you personally like to use, so my personal choice for real estate is Redfin mostly, but that's just because of how it works. This is a property that I was interested in at the time, and so I will just hit the share button right in the middle of that screen here, and when it comes up, I will copy the URL and go back to the app that I created and paste it into that portal. The extract data will light up blue. You click that extract data, and look at this. You don't have to manually type anything. It's going to automatically give you all of your information that it can extract using AI from the article that you pasted. Now, some of the things that won't automatically be able to extract because maybe it's not in there, including your closing costs, renovation costs, your potential income, your monthly rent. So we're just going to put an arbitrary number in there, that type of thing, and expenses. So you can throw in your property taxes, your annual taxes. The more that you give to this, the more accurate the numbers are going to be in the profile. So we hit save property. We can update the photo to something else to remind us of what that property is specifically, and save again. So that's it. Now, if we go back to the main screen, we can compare these properties side by side. So I'm going to go ahead and just compare this one property that I've already had built into the app. I'm going to compare it side by side, but if you notice, right below the selector for the property, there's a rental strategy. You can choose long-term, short-term, or value add. The long-term and short-term is what I'm going to compare here just to show you what is available. So for long-term renting, it shows that I've selected the rent is going to be $4,800 a month. The nightly rate for the short-term rental is going to be $550 per night, and occupancy of 59%. All right, so these are the numbers it's going to use to be able to spit out the overview calculations. This shows you what your monthly cash flow is, your cash on cash return, what your actual cap rate is, your net operating income, your initial investment, and your projected capital gains in the future. Obviously, if we're looking at long-term renting, this thing barely breaks even. It's just breaking even on this screen. So if we look at it with the short term, though, short term looks a little bit more promising. We've got a positive cash flow. We've got cash on cash return of 16.77% and an actual cap rate of 12.25. This is still pretty low for an Airbnb, potentially, but it at least gives you some idea of how you can compare and analyze a property. But going further than this, okay, I see that I can potentially make money with this property, but what should I pay for this property, okay? How can I get those numbers even better realistically? If I go into the property analysis, I can check to see that there is mortgage. I can look at what my mortgage payment will be, the cash flow, which I already saw an overview of, and the values. So there are three simple ways to evaluate the value of a property, and that is income, sales comp, and cost analysis. Okay, so if you look at the income side of things, it values this property at $511,500. On the cost side, it's $493. To do a sales comp, you will have to manually add the sales comp information because you should be working with a real estate agent to get sales comps. This is the most common way of evaluating a property on a single family home that maybe somebody's buying to purchase. But this does give you an idea of what you may be able to sell it to somebody that wants to live in the property for. Okay, and this app, what it will do is average your three sales comps, the income and the cost, all three of them together, to be able to get that average estimated value of $502,000. If we look at it with the Airbnb, it evaluates the property a little bit higher because of the higher income side. Okay, so that income side's at 1.1 million, which brings that average estimated value up to 823,000. Okay, so this gives you the simple evaluation methods. But what if I wanted to see what a bank is trying to see when they look at somebody that's trying to get a commercial loan, or somebody that's looking at maybe buying a bunch of stock, that type of thing? This is called a DCF IRR calculator, built right up into this app. So it gives you your net present value and your internal rate of return automatically based on all the numbers that you've already got into the property profile. So this shows a negative net present value, which is not a good thing. That means it's a bad deal and you're not going to be getting a great return. Internal rate of return is 3.85%, which is also below the 10% hurdle that most are looking for. If we look at this on the Airbnb side, we can see that, okay, there is a positive net present value and the internal rate of return is 28.92%. This would be a very good investment in that side. But this gives you that full analysis. You can see everything over a 10-year period broken down as far as what you're looking at for potential cash flows over time. It gives you everything that you need to be able to see, okay, is this property good or is this property a bad investment? And that's really the main part for the comparison. But what if I want to keep this property because I purchased it? Okay, there's this add portfolio button right in the middle of the screen. If you hit add to portfolio, it's going to bring up your acquisition date. Choose the acquisition date and hit add to portfolio. When you add it to your portfolio, you'll see that there's a top green little suitcase in the bottom right hand corner, or the top right hand corner. When you click that, this is where all of your portfolio, all the properties that you own and add to your portfolio, will go here, and it will have 4 basic categories that it will sum up to. So you'll see your total properties, your total monthly cash flow, your total portfolio value, and your overall return on investment. Now, obviously, in this case, I just added the long-term investment in there, or the long-term rental investment in there, which was not a good investment in the first place. So it's showing my projected monthly cash flow to be negative, and that I have $0 right now. But if I were to add something that actually has a good return, you would see these numbers being quite a bit different. That's it. That's the gist of my app. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw. Thanks. Bye.